According to Remus Lupin, Hinkypunks are small creatures that seem to be made of smoke. They carry a lantern with them to lure travelers into bogs. Let's find out how well the Hinkypunk can lure your opponents in Harry Potter Magic Awakened. Let's thank our sponsor for today's video, Glitch Energy. So if you need a boost to stay in the game, try Glitch Energy. Use code AuroraWolves for a 20% discount on your next order. When you summon a Hinkypunk, you'll get to draw a path on the arena. A timer appears on the card to show how much time you have to draw, and a little gauge appears on the field to show you how much distance you have left. Once you've drawn the path, the Hinkypunk will follow it. Any enemy summons or companions it passes will start following it too, like enchanted ducklings. While they're following, they won't attack, which is a huge bonus. Sadly, enemy players won't fall for the lantern trick. When the Hinkypunk reaches its destination, it explodes, dealing damage to nearby enemies and disarming witches or wizards for a few seconds. When it comes to using echoes, the Hinkypunks can work great with the Newt Echo. Using the Hinkypunk will give the Newt Echo a control card that will group mobs together instead of spreading them apart. This should give Newt time to use a mooncap or deal enough damage to clear the mobs. With the Bellatrix Echo, you can use the Hinkypunk to move enemy summons away from your Death Eaters when they start to show up. You could also lure the Hinkypunks towards enemy players so they get hit by the explosion when the Hinkypunk reaches its destination. This will also be a great addition to a Neville Echo. You can now drive summons away from your fortress or straight into one of your Whomping Willows. Now, if you use it with the Ron Echo, when you get the night buff on the Hinkypunk will first dash into your opponent, before it will start to go to the path you drew. This means that the Hinkypunk will travel a longer path than the original path you made. This would then also mean that it'll spend more time controlling enemy summons and companions. As for companions, you can use the Hinkypunk with Hagrid. You can make enemy summons and companions travel along a path while you use Hagrid to ram into them to defeat them. Robin can also deal a lot of damage to enemy summons and companions since they'll be grouped together as they follow the Hinkypunk. Then you have Dumbledore. As you know, Dumbledore will automatically res a buffed summon. How this affects the Hinkypunk is that it'll first go through a path that you've drawn before exploding. Then once it's rezzed, the game will automatically have a path drawn out for the Hinkypunk to follow. So, if you're going up against larger mobs, the Hinkypunk can control more of the arena for you. Now, for cards that you can use with the Hinkypunk, some of the cards would be to help your Hinkypunk survive. Protego, Murtlap, and Episky will help make sure that your Hinkypunk can reach its destination and keep opponents following it. You can use Swooping Evil to bring a stray enemy summon to the destination of your Hinkypunk, so that it can deal damage to all creatures at once it reaches its destination. And speaking of its destination, you can use Whizbangs to defeat all the opponents following it. You'll just need to make sure that you time it correctly to make sure that all opponents get hit. Then you have Acromantula Venom and Grabravian Fire. These two spells can create continuous damage to opponents if you're able to keep your opponents walking on it by using Hinkypunk. So your main plan when you're using Hinkypunk is that you really should use it when there are summons out. Also, when you create a path for the Hinkypunk, try and get it to where it ends up on the player, so when the Hinkypunk explodes, it'll deal damage to the player and disarm them for a few seconds. Keep in mind that you only have a limited time to draw a path for the Hinkypunk, as well as a limited distance. Otherwise, that Hinkypunk card would be too overpowered if you could just endlessly keep enemy summons walking around and around the arena. Keep this limitation in mind as you draw your path. It's not a terribly fast timer that you have to panic to draw the path. If you draw the path too fast, you might run out of path to draw, since remember, there is another gauge that tells you how much path you have left. The Hinkypunk might look small and spooky, but it's awesome when it comes to crowd control. Whether you're guiding enemy summons into danger or just making them take a scenic tour of the arena, this card opens up a lot of fun strategies. So, if you enjoy messing with your opponent's position, give the Hinkypunk a shot. Just don't follow strange lanterns in real life, okay? And until next time, fellow mages, see you in the wizarding world.
This isn't what the book said. Magical move.
Death Eater. I'll get you for this.